All right, NASCAR fans, we're now on to round two of the playoffs here, and things are starting to heat up, and things are starting to heat up here on this show. I'm your host, Jason Mattis, as always. This is my weekly NASCAR show. Thanks for coming in here with us. Joined each and every single week by William Blackwell. How's it going there, man?
It's going good, man. It's this weekend at Las Vegas is going to be very special for a lot of reasons. One being that it's the playoff opener for the round of 12. This past weekend at Bristol, four drivers went home. Michael McDowell, that was a clear bet right there. Tyler Reddick, Kurt Busch, and like a lot of people advanced, Harvick advanced, and Keselowski advanced. That caught my attention. And we saw them drivers right there that were kind of surprised to get knocked out and just making things look interesting here for this round of 12. Because in the round of 12, you go to Vegas, and then you go to Talladega, and then you go to the Charlotte Roval. Two of them tracks in this round are big unknowns. So you're going to want to do really good here at Vegas, and if not, win the race so you can feel a little more comfortable heading into Talladega, where you'll see big wrecks, and then the Roval will be a wreck fest. So this weekend is very important.
Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen here. Let's remind everybody what we do around here. We go ahead and recap the previous week. Then we go ahead and look forward to the upcoming race. As William said, it's at Las Vegas this week at the South Point 400. And when we talk about it, we'll give you our picks for a chance to win $25,000 on the Jackpot Races app, $10,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app, and another $1,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. So let's just jump on into it. Let's go ahead and start with that recap of Bristol, where he had 23 lead changes, and the last lead change put Kyle Larson up on the lead, and he's the one that took home that checkered flag. As Williams said, Almirola, Reddick, McDowell, and Kurt Busch, they were the four drivers that were sent home and eliminated from the playoffs, so 12 drivers remain. Let's go ahead and hear Williams' opening thoughts about this, and let's go ahead, William, and just because the whole Elliot Harvick situation is obviously the talking point here, give us everything outside of that, and then we'll circle back and kind of give that its own little stage, if you will. So what do you have to say about Bristol outside of Elliot and Harvick?
Bristol this past weekend did not fail us. You saw a lot of side by side action, which I really admire. And it also brings up the debate for many things. One, should NASCAR race at Bristol 3 times a year, like they did Daytona this year? Race 2 times on the oval, 1 time on the road course, but instead at Bristol, 2 times on the oval, and then 1 time on the dirt. That's worth the debate. But also, I came to the conclusion NASCAR has to do something different. Michael McDowell in the round of 16 was irrelevant. And I think moving forward, they should do something to make that last playoff spot a little more equal to the other cars out there, because there's no way in hell McDowell was contending for even 15th place. That was just like bad. And I think next year they got to raise the standards. And instead of being in the top 30 in owner points, maybe, I don't know, top 25 or 23 or so. They got to do something. They got to crack down on that. And I hate it because Austin Dillon, if he would have got in, he would have done really well in this past round. Just putting that out there.
Yep. All right. Well, piggybacking on what you said, based on what you said right there, yeah, they're going to give Bristol a dirt track, which we already know they're going to go back and run the dirt in 2022. Bristol deserves to have two tracks there on the concrete. Outstanding races, as you said. That was just fantastic racing, and that's what every fan would have want there on the short track. So love that right there. And then your other point right there about McDowell, I agree wholeheartedly. He should not have been a playoff driver. Just because you win a race doesn't mean you should be a playoff driver. It's what you do on the body of work, not you get lucky on one racetrack and he gets lucky on the luckiest of all racetracks. So I certainly agree with you right there. Another thing, though, focusing on this Bristol race, just in particular here, I got beef with Eric Almirola and I got beef with NASCAR. Eric Almirola, there's a caution flag being thrown out, and leading up to that caution, his car was smoking and looked like his team had it narrowed down to an oil line right there. So they come down the pit road, they change an oil line. He ends up getting black flag. He ends up having to extend the length of the caution because he put oil down the track. All that happens and he doesn't lose a lap. He doesn't lose. He stays on lead lap. Like, people always talk about how sports are, conspiracies and, they're rigged and what have you. Well, that didn't do anything to quiet that narrative. He should not stay on the lead lap. He delayed the caution. He made the caution last longer by putting oil on the track. So I got major beef with that. I understand he's a playoff driver, because if that's not a playoff driver, he's not going to stay on the lead lap. But because he's a playoff driver, we'll let Almirola stay on the lead lap. Don't like that one bit. You know what? He had a car problem. Not penalize him, so to speak, but just let the natural penalty happen, which is him, becoming a lap down, maybe even two possible laps down. So I didn't like that whatsoever. Big disappointing night for Kurt Busch. Huge disappointing night for Kurt Busch. I had him picked last week here on the show. Thought he would show up on a track that he loves. He's won at this track multiple times. Disappointed. Never did run into any really bad luck. Nothing on pit road. Nothing. Just nothing. Just didn't have speed. Just flat out didn't have it. And then my other takeaway was you mentioned kind of the side-by-side racing. And I don't know if this will be fixed in that next-gen car, but you had that contact there between Larson and Hamlin. And that obviously cut Hamlin's tire down and then sent him into the wall. Boy, I just hope the next-gen car is a little bit more durable and allows more of this side-by-side contact. Because, I mean, fans love that. That's racing right there. Cars getting up next to each other, bumping and grinding. And just minimal contact like that. And we get a flat tire and Hamlin has to pit. So, I don't know. I just hope that maybe the next-gen car is a little bit more durable. So, those are my main talking points before Elliot Harvick. What else did you want? I saw you want to chime in there.
Yeah, when you were speaking about Almirola, NASCAR didn't quite come down on him. And I think it makes NASCAR look like a joke. Because you got to remember, throughout the season, NASCAR has had many issues. Running in the rain at New Hampshire, running in the mud at Bristol earlier this year with the Truck Series. But still, that's a bad decision there. And then next thing you know, I was at the race in Atlanta back in July, I think it was. Halfway through the race, it was raining. NASCAR still kept on green. Thought it was a little sketchy, but NASCAR has not made the wisest decisions in the 2021 season. And for them to help Almirola out for one of his mistakes, which could have cost a lot of teams a lot of money, I think that's wrong. And NASCAR should have came harder on Mike Bugger Ravage and Eric Almirola and company this past weekend. I would think maybe hold them for a lap or two, or even park them, because that oil on the track is it's a liquid, obviously, and when cars go over it, it is real slippery, and that's going to cause a lot of wrecks, and a lot of wrecks cause a lot of money. And I just didn't like how NASCAR handled it, and they're starting to look like a joke here with their decision making this past season.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly cleaned the oil up to prevent any wrecks, but they were about to go back to green flag, and then they were like, oh, no, wait, he done sprayed oil on this track. We got to clean it up. You got to penalize the man. So, yeah, completely uncalled for. All right, well, if you don't have anything else, should we get into the beef? The beef that is Elliot versus Harvick? That's what everybody here wants to hear about. Now, everybody doesn't want to hear about that other crap. They want to hear about Elliot versus Harvick. All right, let's go ahead and talk about it. Obviously, we remind everybody, what happened. Those guys were battling there for the lead. And then Harvick got up into Elliot, cut his tire down. Elliot obviously like, yo, my man's been doing that all the time. He always races like that. I liked it how when he came up off pit road, when he passed him, he gave him a nudge. I absolutely love that. Gave him just a little bit of a tap right there. I don't know if he was trying to cut his own tire down or maybe he was just trying to give him a little bit of a tap right there, but definitely let him know, still in the race, full on going on, competing for it, that he didn't appreciate that one bit right there. Absolutely love that move right there. What do you want to say about that? I've got a couple more other things, but I know you want to chime in.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily agree on what Elliot did. I know he was frustrated for him and Harvick in that collision. But you know what? It's a racing accident. Things will happen. A lot of people call, shit happens. And Elliot got put in the wall. It was just a racing incident. But for him to go back onto the track and then mess up Harvick's racing line and did not move out the way, for one, it is very hypocritical because he's the one driver that criticized a lot of lap cars getting in his way. But two, he's tired of getting wrecked, and that's what caused wrecks. Slowing down and trying to mess up someone that wrecked you. And it's just ignorant racing. And NASCAR should have cracked down on him, but with Chase Elliott, nothing will happen. But that very much fired me up, as it would have like the Clint Boyer back in 2012. I was furious Saturday night. And I think NASCAR handled that very poorly. And then on pit road, a lot of people are going to talk about the pit road incident, Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott getting out their cars, talking to one another. Were you wondering why Harvick wore a helmet?
Oh, I've got that written down in my notes right here. Harvick is a wuss. I've got that written down. He's a straight up wuss. He knew what he was doing. He left it. I got it written down right there. He's a wussy. He's a wuss leaving his helmet on. What are you leaving your helmet on for? You trying to act all big and bad? You want to put your car right behind him on pit road? Well, first side by side, then right behind, and then you want to walk out with your helmet on. Come on, man. You want to go to a fight? Come on, take your helmet off. Nah, that was a wuss move. Wuss.
But
showed his true colors right there. Wuss. He don't really want to get into confrontation. He's a little wussy boy. He don't really want to get any confrontation. Leaving his helmet on.
But in his defense, he's in his 40s. He don't got much fighting left in him. But two, he was surrounded by 300-pound pit crew members from the 9 car. He was smart to keep that thing on.
No, there were
But
police
also,
there. There were NASCAR officials. Take your helmet. You knew that you knew nobody was going to throw any punches. He only looks like a wuss. He only looks like a wussy. Nobody was never going to be throwing any punches. They were just going to talk and yell at each other and maybe slightly shove each other's chest around. That was about all they were going to do. And he leaves his helmet on.
for all the viewers watching this video, I got to give y'all a refresher. Harvick is not a driver to mess with. Juan Pablo Montoya got put in his place by Harvick. Carl Edwards got body slammed on his car in the middle of a practice. I think it was either Martinsville or Texas many years ago, and he obviously choked out Greg Biffle. Harvick is not the guy to be messing with, and I think Saturday night Chase Elliott picked a bone he should not have picked, and he should be lucky NASCAR got involved, separated them before it was a little too late.
Yep. I don't know about you, and I got a good laugh out of the post race interview. Remind everybody, you touched on it there briefly. Remember, Kyle Larson only took that checkered flag because his teammate right there helped him. Right, he took away Harvick's line, was blocking him, and made it so Larson obviously had an easy pass. And then a few laps ago, obviously he held off Larson right there, even though Harvick was certainly charging, even bumping him at times right there. But Larson wins that race, obviously because of Elliot. I got a big old laugh at a post-race interview when Elliot gave the quote of, "I just ran my line. I just ran my line." That's what he said. I just ran my line. No, you didn't run your line. You blocked Harvick. You slowed him up, and you allowed your teammate Kyle Larson to get by. I ain't mad at you. I get it. I do agree with what you said earlier, about NASCAR. They should have cracked down, when he did come off pit road or come back off of pit road and then he bumped him. I mean, that was wrong because, the previous incident between Harvick and Elliott is probably just a racing incident. I do agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with, bumping and getting along aside each other and creating contact. So I do agree with what you said right there. But I laughed when he said, "I just ran my line," because everybody knew it was a lie. He said it, and I just got a good old chuckle out of it. I just ran my line. That's all. I just ran my line. I just ran my line.
I don't know if that was funny or when that Jordan Bianchi, that journalist, was in the back in the garage filming them straight up in that conversation. Harvick went up, told him, and
told him to
bleep
stop
off, and then he told him to bleep off. There was some bad language involved there, but I thought that was really funny because he did it, he stopped for a brief moment.
Yeah, Harvick went up to him.
Picked that phone back up again.
Yeah, and then they went to the number 9 hauler. They left there and went to the 9 hauler. I gave Harvick, said he was a wuss. Obviously, by that point, it had cooled down because that was probably their third or fourth time they had been talking after the race. But to go up in the number 9 hauler where you ain't got none of your team, you don't know what's up in that 9 hauler. All right, got a little respect back over around there, just going up in that hauler. Okay, I see you, Harvick.
Yeah, but what's up? It's just like a coincidence. It seems like every time Kyle Larson wins a race out of nowhere, there's always a fight. In that fight or argument, if you will, one driver is always wearing a helmet and the other one's not. He's innocent. Clint Boyer, Ryan Newman a couple years ago, the All-Star race, Boyer wore his helmet and beat the ever-living crap out of Newman while sitting in his car. This go around, Boyer's teammate, used to be teammate, Kevin Harvick, went to chase Elliott with his helmet on. Coincidence.
Yeah, I didn't like the helmet move right there. He knew what he was doing. He take your helmet off, man. He had plenty of time. Elliott got his helmet off. Just take your helmet off. Take it off. Don't look like a wuss. Don't look like a wuss. All right, but this is gonna be exciting going forward. It's playoff time. It's gonna keep on be exciting. They're gonna be under the they're under NASCAR's microscope, so they better watch out. But in the heat of a race, if you're telling me, these guys are now in, let's say the round of 8, and they get in a similar situation, they're not going to think about a penalty. They're going to, this incident's going to come back up in their mind. Harvick's going to think about how he got held up and Larson passed him. Elliot's going to remember how he was going to maybe win the race until Harvick cut his tire down. Yeah, this one's not over, I don't think. Hopefully we can see these two go at it again here before the season's over and doesn't have to spill over to next season, because then it will be cooled down a lot. If we get it one more in this round, or not this round, but this set of playoffs, oh yeah, that'll be another good one.
Yeah, but before we get into the picks, this past week, NASCAR announced that they're going to have the clash at the LA Coliseum. What was your opinion about that?
I don't know how they're going to put a track there. I know it. I've read about it. I don't really have any experience. To me, it's always, that's kind of a sacred, football venue. So Yeah, I guess mix it up, right? I think the only benefit is it becomes, isn't it like the week before the Super Bowl? So I think it's kind of good because I
I
think the
think it
Super Bowl
is.
maybe is out there, so it does kind of play into the Super Bowl. So I think that'll be good in terms of drumming up interest. But otherwise, I mean, that stadium is iconic for football. So yeah, I don't know. Don't really feel anything about it.
Hmm.
So you want to move on to Vegas?
Let's move on to Vegas.
All right, going on to Vegas this weekend. We got the South Point 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. These guys raced back here in March where Kyle Larson took that checkered flag. Remind you guys, Joe Gibbs Racing was really, really strong that day. They had 4 cars, or all 4 of their cars, I should say, in the top 7. So yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing was really strong that day. Kozlowski was also strong. He won stage 1. He was second in stage 2, and he was second overall at the end of the race. So good showing there by Kozlowski. He's obviously a playoff driver. And there's also 2 other drivers that kind of put on your radar that I think will be strong this weekend. I didn't pick them, but boy, I had a tough decision not to pick them. Hamlin and Blaney are the other 2 drivers that finished all 3 stages back in March in the top 5. Those are the only other 2 drivers that can say that. So they had a good showing back in March. Otherwise, this race will be the best one of this round. You kind of touched on it earlier because you get Talladega next, which is the great big unknown, and anything can happen. And then you get the Roval, where you kind of know who's going to win. But, okay, if it's not Chase Elliott, it's probably only a couple other guys that you can count on one hand that are probably going to win that race. So this will be by far the most fascinating race in this round of the playoffs. So absolutely look forward to this one. Can't wait till Sunday night. What do you got to say about this, or do you just want to give the people our picks?
Let's get into it. You hit it on all spots, and very important race.
That's right here. And I must say right here, at this racetrack, tire wear is not all that important, but I do think track position is important at this racetrack here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So watch out for track position, but tire wear, yeah, don't really worry about that here at this racetrack. All right, let's jump on into it. We got the Jackpot Races app where we can win $25,000. They give you 5 groups of drivers. Pick the driver to finish best amongst the group, and then you got to round out a top 3 for them. So we'll let William go first in Group 1. You got to pick between Larson, Hamlin, Truex, Logano, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott. Who's it going to be for you?
This round right here is very difficult. But you know what? These last couple of weeks, I have seen a lot come out of Kyle Busch. Darlington, that was a childish act. And then we made it clear on the following episode that it was very, I would say, inappropriate for someone in his popularity and a celebrity status for him to do that. But the way he came back and then handled himself to the media on and off the track, I respected that. And as they're going into his home track, I'm feeling the need to pick Kyle for this round because I think he's going to do really well here, and he might upset and win this Sunday night at Las Vegas.
I'll touch on Kyle Busch. I didn't pick him. The one thing I'll say about him is the reason why I didn't pick him, but I did pick him for the NBC Sports Predictor app. Boy, he's had some bad luck this playoffs. And you know what? Sometimes you just can't get away from bad luck, whether it's been accidents, whether it's been mechanicals, whether it's been flat tires, whether it's been a speeding penalty on pit road. That guy is just, he hasn't ran a clean race yet. I'm not sure why it is, but hey, to me, he's not quite putting it together so far in this playoffs. I did go with a Kyle, but his last name's not Busch. It's Larson. Why not keep on riding out Kyle Larson? He's got the best average finish in this group, second best overall average finish overall. 5 of his last 6 races here at Las Vegas have all been in the top 10, with 3 of those in the top 5. He's got momentum, obviously, coming off last week's win, so I absolutely like that. Even though, yeah, Chase Elliott did help him. He was the winner, and that momentum's only going to carry him on into this race right here. And in the playoffs, what I like most is I love guys that are just heating up in these playoff races. He's got a 2nd place finish, a 6th place finish, and a 1st place finish in the playoffs. Guy is really, really hot right now. So go ahead and give me Kyle Larson for Group 1. For Group 2, we got a tip between Kurt Busch, Blaney, Kozlowski, Bowman, Harvick, and Byron. Tough for me. I had it between Blaney and Harvick. I went with Kevin Harvick. Look, and to me, it matters again. What are you doing for me now? And in the playoffs, he has a 5th place finish, an 8th place finish, and a 2nd place finish, which is the best average in this group across those 3 races. He's heating up in the playoffs, obviously. He's not winning, but he's right there. I mean, given those 3 finishes, he is right there in contention each and every single week. His last 7 at Vegas, he's led the most laps. He's got 3 top 5s, and he's got the best driver rating. And besides the race earlier, he had all stages finish in the top 10, including the finish. So go ahead and give me Kevin Harvick. What about for you?
I'm going to agree with you. Kevin Harvick, he is the safe bet here. If you're trying to win all this money, Kevin Harvick is a lock. I mean, Kurt Busch, he's been hit or miss this season. William Byron, hit or miss. And you got Kevin Harvick. The other drivers are pretty much irrelevant. And I just think Harvick is the safe bet if you're wanting to win some dough.
Did you have a tough time picking between Blaney? I mean, I that's at least who I had it narrowed down to. But for you, it was easy,
No,
Kevin Harvick.
I never considered Blaney. Like when I look at Las Vegas, I look at Team Penske, but Blaney's
Yeah.
not part of it. It's always Brad Keselowski or Joey Logano by a big margin. But this past go around, we saw Kyle Larson put on a clinic. But things might get interesting here this Sunday night.
Yeah, and I would also caution people about Kurt Busch. One, because I do think track position is important at Vegas, and now he's going to be starting outside of at least the top 12. And then secondly, guys that are in the playoffs race differently than guys that are outside the playoffs. There's that respect. So not that saying he can't have a good weekend, he can run top 5, top 10, but you race the guys out of the playoffs will race the guys in the playoffs a lot different. So give you a little bit of caution right there. All right, for Group 3, start us off. You got a pick between Reddick, Bell, Almirola, Dibendito, Dillon, or Chastain.
That's going to be a tough round. And when I look at this group right here, you're going to a mile and a half, and it favors the Chevys really well. So the Dibendetto is out of the running. So now you get the RCR cars and then Ross Chastain. That's a tough decision here. The way Chastain has been racing lately, it's hard to bet against them. But they're going to a track I think suits Tyler Reddick really well. So Tyler Reddick is my pick.
You're going to go ahead and pick Tyler Reddick. I'm going to go ahead and pick Christopher Bell. Look, he's easily had the best car amongst drivers in this group in March. He finished all the stages in the top 7 and finishing 7th place, so I like that right there. He's been good in the playoffs, folks. Remember, he was good at Darlington until he had that left rear issue. He had a 3rd place finish in Richmond, and he was doing decently there at Bristol until he overshot his pit box, and then obviously had to throw it in reverse, and that cost him valuable time. And on a short track, just that much time is enough to really go ahead and set you back. So I think he's been driving better than what maybe his standings or what his finishes have been so far in the playoffs. And he's the only driver in this group that is in the playoffs. And I'm telling you, that matters. Guys in the playoffs drive different than guys out of the playoffs. So go ahead and give me Christopher Bell right there in Group 3. For Group 4, we got to pick between McDowell, Buescher, Wallace, Stenhouse, Suarez, and Newman. I'm going to go ahead and pick Chris Buescher. Look, his last 7 have all been in the top 18. When you start getting in Group 17, or in Group 4, if Buescher can finish in the top 18, I think he's got a really good chance right there of winning this group. At Vegas, he's got his driver rating and results with JT Jordy are in the 50s and 60s with 15 and 18 places as average finish. But at Vegas, with Roush Fenway, his driver rating is in the 70s with a 14th, 9th, and 14th place finish. So if you just look at his whole body of work, it's not that good. But if you trim it down to when he's been at Roush Fenway, he's had a lot better results here at Vegas, so I like that. And I think he'll win the group. So, yeah, that's what I got right there, Chris Buescher.
I don't know if we exchanged notes or what, but we're agreeing here. I got Chris Buescher. He's been doing really well here at Vegas with Roush Fenway these last 2 years. But more importantly, he has been running well at all mile and a halves. He ran well at Atlanta. Kansas had a shot to win the race in the spring. And then, he blew me away. I did not expect for him to do so well, and he's a safe bet for this round.
All right, tell them who's going to win Group 5 between Jones, Priest, Custer, Briscoe, LaJoie, and Alfredo. You can leave off Alfredo. He'll wreck. Who's going to finish Who's going to finish best amongst those other 5?
Yeah, they're all going to wreck. All 5 of them are going to wreck regardless.
Hey, not the guy I picked, or at least he's going to wreck last.
I would say my man Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
Look, this past weekend at Bristol, he's obviously had a couple of top 10s this year, and those were coming from road courses. But this past weekend, he had a P13 finish at Bristol, and it caught my attention. He outran some playoff drivers, so could he do that same type of run here at Las Vegas? He's not needing a top 10, top 15 finish. He needs a top 20 for you to win some dough, because some other drivers are not going to get up there, and Briscoe has the potential to get up there.
Yeah, if you pick somebody in this group to finish in the top 20, you're going to go ahead and win this group. I don't think it's going to be Briscoe. Huh?
If everybody, people watching this video, if there's one thing to take away from us, do not ever bet Anthony Alfredo for this round.
Never bet Alfredo. I mean, I joke that this group, all these guys are going to wreck. They're not all going to wreck, but Alfredo's going to wreck. I mean, he's I don't even know why he's on the circuit. I mean, I really don't know why. He's terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, it's not going to be Alfredo. It's not going to be Briscoe. It's going to be Eric Jones. I actually thought he stuck out in this group. Got a 10th place finish here at Vegas back in March. 6 of his 8 races here. He has a driver rating above 81. So he's been running good at Vegas, just maybe not getting the results with, given that he's got a driver rating of 81. So go ahead and give me Eric Jones amongst those guys. All right, top 3. Who's taking that checkered flag and who's going to be right behind him there, William?
All right, here, my top 3. 1 will be the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. But I do not think he will get the win like very easily or given to him, if you will. Because I think the Candyman, the hometown boy, Kyle Busch, will give him a run for his money. And when you go back to Kyle Larson, your winner from the spring, he's going to be hard to beat. But I will think the 18 and the 4 camp will beat him. So there's your top 3, 4, 18, and 5. And that's it.
Okay, cool. I've got to go ahead and give back-to-back winners there with Kyle Larson. Think he can go ahead and repeat the same performance that he did in March. Think he can carry that momentum on in Bristol. So I do have Kyle Larson winning it. In my second and third place, I mentioned there in the opening when we talked about Vegas about how Joe Gibbs Racing was really strong here back in March. Hamlin has done nothing in this playoffs to take me off of him. Think he's been really strong, maybe one of the best drivers in all the playoffs. So I've got Hamlin right there in P2. And then P3, I've got his teammate Martin Truex Jr. right behind him. Great numbers here, and he's got momentum. Drivers that are driving well in the playoffs, listen to Martin Truex here in the playoffs. He's got 4th, 1st, and 7th here in the playoffs. Love what he's doing in the playoffs. So, yeah, 2 Joe Gibbs racers right there to round out the top 3 for me right there. So, Kyle Larson, Hamlin, and Truex. Can't wait.
I got one thing that mentioned for all the viewers out there participating in these contests. Last year, when NASCAR went to Las Vegas in the playoffs, for one, it was a wreck fest, and he had many cautions, and we saw Kurt Busch winning the race, Matt DiBenedetto up there, and Denny Hamlin obviously was up there. But take this into account. This track right here at Las Vegas, under the lights, races like a plate track for the opening 5-10 laps after a restart. So look into that, and there's a potential of a big wreck. So be a little lenient to who you pick, and I just want to add that out there because Las Vegas is different compared to your Atlanta or Charlotte or Kansas because it does race like a plate track for the opening laps after a restart.
Yeah, that's a good little piece of nugget there. You mentioned DiBenedetto. I just think he can have a good weekend here. He's ran really good here at Vegas. Both races last season, including the one in the playoffs. You mentioned his second place finish. He also did good in the spring race earlier on back in 2020. So to look for Matt DiBenedetto, doesn't have a ride yet for next season. So obviously still super motivated. Don't be surprised if DiBenedetto cracks top 10, top 15. I think he's going to have a real good race coming on this weekend. All right.
I agree with.
Going to be a nice race here on Sunday. Let's go ahead and let you drop, and I'll go ahead and give the people their picks for the NBC Sports Predictor and the Fox Bet Super 6. Anything you want to tell the people you got going on at your channel? I know you're doing great stuff over there. Did I see you put out an F1 video?
Yes, on my YouTube channel, I post NASCAR videos. I mean, now during NFL season, I will post NFL weekly predictions. And for the people wanting to get them a little more simpler or easier, I have a score prediction video that comes out 30 minutes later, and gives the score prediction of each game. And then also during the week, I will post Formula One videos, something new I've added to the channel, and it has been really successful for me, and I'm going to keep on doing that. But I got a lot of stuff going on. If you don't mind, go check it out, please, and that's all I got to say.
All right, all his contact information, including Twitter and YouTube, is in this video description. As he said, go ahead and go check out that great content. All right, we'll let William drop. Go ahead and enjoy this race on Sunday night. I look forward to getting back in here with you next week, recapping it, and looking forward to Talladega. Have a good one, man.
All right, man.
All right, there you guys have it. Those are our picks for a chance to win $25,000 on the Jackpot Races app. Now let's move it over to the NBC Sports Predictor app, where you can win $10,000. They give you all 3 stages. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the group, and then you also do have to give them a top 3. Don't also forget, I'm giving away $25 each and every single week. You know, see the guys see on your app. There's a league tab. Well, go ahead and join the league and compete against your fellow Winning Bet supporters. Need that league information? It's in this video description. Grab that information from this video description. Go ahead and join that league, and then you can win $25 next week. Who won it this week? Well, if we go ahead and take a look, it looks like Monica W. Monica W goes ahead and takes home the $25 with a nice 50-point entry, so congratulations to her. She correctly predicted Kyle Larson was going to be the winner, so nice pick right there. And she also correctly predicted the winner of Stage 3, so a very nice showing there by Monica. Make sure you go ahead and hit me up on Twitter, drop me that PayPal information, and I'll go ahead and send you $25. Everybody else, good luck on this week's contest there for $25. All right, let's go ahead now, move it on into my picks. For Stage 1, I'm going to go ahead and pick Kevin Harvick. I think he's going to be best in this, or he starts in this, amongst these drivers, he starts in the best position. And I mentioned earlier how track position is important here at Vegas. So I've got Kevin Harvick winning this one. For Stage 2, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kyle Busch. Look, he's had issues. Like I said, this was the reason why I've kind of stayed away from him on the Jackpot Races at. But his issues really come up in Stage 3 for the most part. He's been running relatively good in Stage 1 and Stage 2, so I don't really have a problem picking Kyle Busch right here in Stage 2. And then for Stage 3, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kyle Larson. And then you guys can see right here, I didn't mix it up this week. I did the exact same top 3 that I did in Jackpot Races. I want to win all the money, baby. So same top 3. Give me Larson, Hamlin, and Truex Jr. right there. All right, let's move it over now to the Fox Bet Super 6 app where you can win $1,000, 6 questions, answer all 6 questions right, split that $1,000 prize. Question one is who's going to finish best at the end of the Stage 1? I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kevin Harvick. Question 2 is how many Fords will be in the top 5 at the end of Stage 1? I'll go ahead and give it to Blaney and Harvick. I think there's going to be 2. I think Blaney will be good this weekend. And then obviously I think Kevin Harvick will be good in his own right. So give me 2 Fords in the top 5 at the end of Stage 1. Who's going to have the worst finish at the end of Stage 2? I'm going to go ahead and say Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott will have the worst finish. How many Hendrick drivers will be finishing in the top 5 at the end of Stage 2? I'll go ahead and say Kyle Larson for question number 4. For question number 5 is which Hendrick drivers will have the least amount of points at the end of the race? I'll go ahead and say Christopher Bell. And are they tricking me here? Look at the entries. The question says Hendricks. All the available selections are Joe Gibbs racers. Am I getting tricked? Like, do I need to go tie? Hopefully they don't trick me. I'm going to go ahead and say Christopher Bell. But I don't like that, Fox Bet. I don't know if you're being dirty. I don't know what you're doing. If you're being cute, you think you're being funny. But I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And then for question number 6 is which driver is going to finish worse at the end of the race? I'll go ahead and say Alex Bowman. Besides, Bristol just hasn't been running all that great during the playoffs, so I'll go and say Alex Bowman right there. All right, that's how I'm doing it. $25,000, $10,000, and another $1,000. Plenty of money to be had for an exciting race. I think this will be absolutely exciting, again, because then you got Talladega, and then you got the Roval there at Charlotte. So get your popcorn, baby. I think we're in another great race, just like we got a fantastic race there at Bristol, and all takes place on Sunday night. All right, guys, go ahead and hit this like button. I just want to be of help to you. That's my goal. I understand that you guys may not be copying all my picks. I encourage you to copy all my picks because I do spend a lot of time on researching it and watching each and every single race and trying to predict what happens to the best of my ability. But at the end of the day, I just want to help you guys on one of these entries, one of these groups. And if I've done so, go ahead and hit that like button. Good luck on your picks, and we'll see you back here next week on the NASCAR show. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.